This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everybody. When things become challenging in your life, maybe you're in the face of adversity, you always have something. Sometimes you may think, I've got nothing here. You do. You have something very powerful, and it's called choice. You always have choice. Even those moments where you may think your back's up against the wall in a situation, you really do have a choice. At the very least, you have a choice of how you're going to react to a situation. We're going to talk about that today, the power of choice. She is the owner of Infinite Healing and Wellness, author of a great book called Mastering Self, and also offers in a very boutique fashion ways to help you heal and move your life forward and also realize the choices that you have. She is Colleen Brindley. She's back on the program. How are you doing today?
Hi, wonderful, Steve. Always a pleasure to have a conversation with you. Looking forward to today as every time we meet. I love it.
This is, there's probably 4 or 5 things in my brain that get priority. Some of those things may be gratitude, forgiveness. These are things to move your life forward. And one of those is choice. We always have it. Sometimes you don't realize it, right?
Yeah, no, I think, choice is amazing. When you think about it, you wake up, you choose your clothes, you choose how you style your hair, you choose your home, where you live. Like the choices are unlimited. And I think that's what makes Earth so amazing, that you meet different people, you can travel to different places, and everybody's making those choices, and it just makes it more magnificent, wonderful. But like you said, you have a choice to believe you're worthy or not. You have a choice to believe that, I'm going to release the past, those emotions, that resentment, or not. And certain choices move us forward, and certain choices make us stuck. And we're looking for choices that continue to move us forward, to grow, to expand. And it's tough sometimes to make those choices. When I studied motivation and worked in schools, choice was so empowering, right?
Wow.
For students to know that they had a choice. Now, I do something very interesting, even raising children. If I want them to complete something, I'm going to say something like, do you want to use the red paper or the blue paper? So they have a choice, but I'm not negotiating whatever task it was, a writing assignment, a homework. And I do the same with adults right now. They're making choices that may not be of a high vibration, meaning loving themselves. And so we need to give them choices, but certain choices will be non-negotiable. And so that's what we do here as spiritual life coaches. We talk about our fourfold being, because your personal vibration is your power tool. That gives you the ability to create and have more choices. Unfortunately, though, sometimes we only limitedly see the choices based on where we live, who we're around, how we were raised, what examples we saw. So exercise, Steve. Number one thing, I hear a lot of excuses. No time, can't do that, I'm this age. And I am here to say, when you choose to exercise some cardio, your personal vibration shifts and new avenues show up.
Thank you for saying that. And I'm experiencing it in real time. I make commitments to work out. I haven't fulfilled them. There was snow and a blizzard here in the New York area. If you're in the metro too. So I'm going to, give myself a little bit of slack, but I'm going to be honest. I'm feeling like I'm dragging. And yes, it was a blizzard, so I ate pizza and ice cream, whatever. But something is missing, and I believe it's working out. And they always say there's a release of chemicals and lots going on there. Yes, there is. And of course, it's good for your health. But movement is key. And it's not movement just to be physically fit. It's moving energy within your body, right?
It is. It absolutely is. I mean, to me, you get in spirit, you get inspiration, you get information, you get open-mindedness, all of these things, all the chemicals we know adjust and our heart, all that cardio, good health. But to me, you really get in spirit. And that is something we work really hard to get people out of their mind. Because the mind tells you you got to work harder. And again, we want people to be self-disciplined, but to work out, not maybe working overtime and things. Maybe if we reverse things, made different choices, I'm going to spend time on me, meaning I love myself. I'm going to get on that elliptical. And believe me, when I started 3, 4 hours a week on an elliptical, I thought, I'm how old? I shouldn't, this is hard. But I persevered, self-discipline, and those choices really started to open up doors for me. And then the beauty is people watch. Oh, she's calm in the face of chaos, confusion. She's not expecting people to agree with her. She's not looking for acceptance or approval or people pleasing. So how exercise can move all of these departments and allow me to be quiet and just observe and just be okay, be in peace, right? So peace is a choice. And I know there are people who are going to say, not always, look at the world. It's divisive, there's separation, there's protests, there's hate, there's war. How can peace be a choice? And we really need to figure out how to make that a choice for everyone. How? And I believe it begins with your own personal vibration. So if we made different choices of where we spend our time, how we communicate, how we connect, how we process our emotions and regulate. And if I release my anger, resentment, and I can get to a peaceful place, I know that will be spread, that will magnify. But it goes back to choices. And again, time is a big factor for us humans. I got to cook and clean and exercise and work and make money. So I am a real human. And so I understand that time is a factor. And so what we do here, all our spiritual coaches are really trained to help people figure out how to prioritize, how to organize and manage their time. And that's a big thing on earth, to manage time and to make a plan. But what we want today is people to prioritize cardio exercise, and that will change the vibration.
I never thought we'd be talking about that. And I made commitments, and I can even read on my phone my commitment for this week. It derailed with the snow, so I'm cutting myself some slack. But it literally says work out 4 times, minimum 30 minutes cardio. And I added the cardio thing because I haven't been doing it. I feel better, and that's how I actually lose weight. Like I used to just go for a jog. Question for you.
Okay.
I've mentioned the song before. It's relevant today in this conversation. This song has been playing in my mind. I've listened to it 50 times over and over again. I'm sure it's showing up for a reason. Let It Grow, Eric Clapton, came out in the mid-'70s, wasn't a big hit, but it connects to what we're saying. Standing at the crossroads, trying to read the signs, to tell me which way I should go, to find the answer. Now, if you're at the crossroads, you need to make a choice. I'm trying to read the signs, man. What if I get that or there's that? Which one do I pick? It's a choice. You're making a choice.
Yeah.
How do you make that choice?
Well, and I'm going to go on and on and on, but you need to know when you walk in my door of here at Infinite Healing in Middletown, New Jersey, it says love is spoken here. But on the next wall, it says you are at a crossroads. Which path will you take?
What the hell is going on here? And wait a minute, I didn't read the rest of the song. I was going to save that. Recapping, to tell me which way I should go to find the answer. And all the time I know, plant your love and let it grow.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's at your door. This is Isn't it? Come on,
Yeah,
Colleen.
no
Isn't this
coincidence. No coincidence.
strange that I'm like talking about this? I've never been through the doors of your building. I want to, plan
No.
to. Um,
Yeah.
wow, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so again, choices, right? Choices. We have to make choices filled with love, but we haven't really defined those. We talk about self-love, we talk about love, we talk about choices, but unfortunately, oftentimes we're on autopilot and we keep repeating what our thoughts, our actions are repetitive until we have a shakeup. And I'll be honest, I didn't make different choices until I was at the bottom of the bottom, right? My daughter's sick. I did everything in my mind, food, nutrition, we started moving our bodies, but not consistent practices. I did not make that choice because I worked, because I had to raise a family, because I was busy. And so we're saying if we consciously make choices to love ourselves, and again, when we go back to this physical body, it needs movement, it needs lubrication, it's the temple of our soul. But if I consistently do something, and I'll always put it out there, I bet you brushed your teeth today. And people will go, well,
Oh no, I
yeah.
forgot. Of course I did.
But how did that become a consistent practice? It
Well,
did.
let's look at that. Let's look at that. Brushing your teeth. Why do we do it on a consistent basis? What do you get from that? Okay, we know it's good for our health. We like the feeling.
Yeah.
It got popular many decades ago because they introduced minty toothpaste. So, and it was all about that minty fresh feeling, i.e., it's something positive, pleasurable, if you will.
Right.
It's habit. Now
Yeah.
translate that to everything else. Going to the gym, it makes you feel good. It's pleasurable. You derive something from it, i.e., better energy. It's good for your health. All of that. And it can be a
Right.
habit if you make it a habit, if you choose to make it a habit.
Right. And so it's a choice. It still is a choice. With the outcome can be just like, no cavities, fresh breath, all of those. But this is on a grander scale.
Sure.
And so if we can get those choices, that's a choice of love. Cardio
Uh,
exercise is a choice of love. Loving
okay,
yourself.
we're going down a different road here, and it's the one I think I'm glad we are. You brush your teeth, whether you love yourself or not. You're
Right.
doing it out of love for yourself because you know it's good for you. Let's be honest. And many of us have
Yeah.
can't. Many people say they cry if they had to look in the mirror and say, I love you. They're just not there. They haven't gotten there. But you're doing it. You're brushing your teeth.
Right.
You're doing it because you care about yourself. You are.
Yeah.
And you care about those around you. You want fresh breath. And
Right.
you must love those people around you too. It's out of love.
Right.
That's where I'm going with that. So
It's out of love.
how do you do all of this? Standing at the crossroads, trying to read the signs to tell me which way I should
Well,
go to find the answer. How do you pick
And
out of love?
how do you pick? Well, and some of it, like anything in history, there are certain people that had to come out ahead of the curve, out ahead of mass consciousness. So brushing your teeth became accepted by the masses. Now it's autopilot. So certain things, certain choices haven't been fully embraced by the broader mass consciousness, right? So the world sometimes still is a place of worry, division, hate, frustration, anger, and they are holding that. So we're trying to come up with consistent practices so people can see the other choices. Let's look at the choice of equality. We're all breathing the same air. We all have the same organs. How could we not all be the same?
Mm.
We're all equal. However, we have a different costume, different personality, different job, different purpose. But we all have the purpose to love ourselves. And once that happens, all of these behaviors become choiceless. I exercise, I use kind words, I release anger, frustration, sadness quicker than ever. I choose quiet over aggression. And I used to think quiet was an inferior quality. I married somebody who could talk and I couldn't always find the words to communicate. And I thought, oh, I'm always so quiet. And then I thought, no, quiet could be a choice, a powerful choice to not create chaos and to, press my beliefs on others, right? So quiet allows people to make their choices in the timing that they're going to make them, because I believe we make choices based on our vibration. And as we shift that vibration with consistent practices of love through prayer, meditation, release letters, quieting the mind, we start to just make different choices. So that crossroads, how, right? That was the question. Well, I think it matters who we gather with. That's why we created a community where love is spoken. We don't come in here and complain. We don't put down others. We understand this growth, right? Back to the lyrics. When you're on earth, you're growing forever. Everything on earth grows, or you're dead. So it's an ongoing, forever, eternal, infinite growing process. Now we're all at different levels of growth. And that's okay. That's what makes it so beautiful. So it's a form of judgment if I demand everyone to look like me, act like me, have the same growth as me. So as an outsider, I may look at someone who's making choices and think they're the wrong choices. However, I'm not in those shoes. And so I think this greater growing process is to not look at choices as bad or good, but as this evolution of making high vibrational choices or low. And low could mean keeping repetitively choosing to not take care of self, to not use kind words, connect in love, right? So went to a wedding, family wedding in Virginia this weekend. Beautiful. I love weddings. My daughter got married December. It was all about love. It was a fairy tale. And the ministers talked about the imperfection. And I don't believe that. I believe in the perfection of humans. And so I thought, wow, these young people are being told they're, in a sense, unworthy, not good enough, got to prove themselves. But I believe that's a choice, right? We talk a lot about this, the choice to believe everything's perfect, divinely orchestrated, to continue that growing process. So if we came in already fully grown, why would we be on earth? So I believe we're here to continue to make choices. And again, some are going to work and move us forward. Some are going to take us around the block a couple of times, but that's the beauty of earth. And if we look at it from that perspective and not condemn, have wrath, and just understand that love is what heals. So I would have to send possibly those young individuals more love for them to see. Maybe they can't see the love in themselves, the perfection. So if as an outsider, I send love, that vibration starts to shift. And so that's the way we handle everything here. So even this blizzard of 2026 here, I contacted a group of ladies and said, let's pray for our weather. Let's send it calming energy to moderate it, to shift the effects. Of course, weather is weather, but can't hurt. So when you're using love, it will never hurt you or anyone else. And you can use the power of love to create change positively without interfering, using words to someone who may not understand things. So I use the power of love to shift, to change, to encourage, to motivate, but to help people see they have more choices. They can choose to send peaceful, loving energy anywhere in the world they want, but most importantly, to choose to love themselves.
Do you feel that if you make a choice, usually it's out of love, as long as you're not making a choice to hurt somebody else, to intentionally do something negative. Like, oh yeah, they did that to me. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to blah, 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 blah. Obviously, there's ill intent in that. But would you say that most choices are done out of love? It could be out of love for yourself, somebody else. But sometimes we need to even intentionally amplify that love. Do you think that's kind of how it works?
I do. I mean, think of parents raising children. I mean, we love our children. We want them happy, successful, independent, earning money. So sometimes we push certain directions. I work with a lot of moms with young children, and hey, I want them potty trained now. I want it now. I want them to have that degree, this much money, whatever. And that's out of love, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
However, that form of control creates this stress factor. And when you push somebody, we call it resistance. When you push them into a box, like a caged animal, their reactions are not going to necessarily be of a high vibration of love, of peace. So sometimes we may not know what's best for other people, even our children. And so when we love them, we allow them to make choices, even if it's not in the direction we think they should be going. But with love, they're going to come again full circle to that higher vibrational choice because we accepted them. So acceptance, surrender, love are the choices that we need to make, but we don't always see them. We don't always see them because the mind will continue to tell us this is better. My own father, major in math or science, there's no job in that helping people field. He loved me. And guess what? I got a good job, made money, and then I was able to make new choices. So was that a bad decision? No, it was part of growth. It was part of me growing into my own skin, feeling confident and saying, no, this is what I want to do. I want a counseling degree. And one of the most famous counseling theories is choice theory. People must be given a choice, but in counseling, they don't see the choices. So our jobs as counselors and coaches is to lay out the choices, because at their vibration, they cannot even see that they have multiple options.
We're out of time. I could keep going with this. I'm still trying to process the fact of those song lyrics pretty much match what happens through your door with those signs. Like there are no coincidences. Sometimes you have to read the signs, like literally what's around, not like road signs, but the signs around you. And you know what? That's what I'm getting from that even those lyrics now. It isn't about, I see signs. Well, you know what? Turn here, turn there. No, it's see the signs. We just saw one with you having the same mantra at your door. Thank you for today. The power of choice. There's so much there, but I see we need to make the choice to be intentional that it includes love. And you know what? Maybe make the choice to move your life forward with some coaching, some counseling, and connecting with you. How do we do that?
Excellent. So infinitehealingandhealth.com, array of services, virtual. Maybe you want to be a coach. Maybe you want to help people. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for people to spread love with helping people find those choices, see the choices. Spiritual life coaching really works. And so Infinite Healing and Health, reach out, contact us. Love it. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you,
so
Colleen.
much.
Always great having you here. Love talking with you, and looking forward next time we get together.
Excellent. Have a great day.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.